I see with Prop 22, which is frankly the most dangerous labor law that I've seen in my lifetime. In August, so just last month, a California judge said that Uber and Lyft have been violating employment and labor laws, that their workers are employees, and that they should be at least provided with a wage floor and overtime compensation. And that, in fact, if you extend what the judge decided, that drivers in California are owed billions of dollars in back wages, because many people in this economy are making less than the minimum wage, are actually sometimes losing money, especially in the pandemic context where demand is so low. So, um, so, so what the companies have done to get out from underneath this law and to get out from underneath employment laws more generally, is to put Proposition 22 on the back. Proposition 22 is the most expensive proposition that has ever existed in the history of the United States. It's 188 million dollars. And what the companies have done is flood the airwaves, flood drivers' apps, flood consumers' email boxes to convince California voters that this is good for workers. Let me explain to you what it does. So the most critical thing that Prop 22 does is it removes time-based wage protections. So workers will only get paid for time when they have a rider assigned to them, which puts them at pre-pandemic time period when demand was high, puts them at earning roughly $5 an hour. So it is a roughly $5 an hour hourly guarantee. There is no sick leave, there is no workers' compensation in an industry that OSHA says is one of the most dangerous in America. There is no unemployment insurance. You have to work roughly 60 to 70 hours a week to get any healthcare subsidies, but there is no health insurance. There is no paid family leave and no protections for health and safety, again, in what is one of the most dangerous occupations in America. What I think is really not well understood by the voting public is that although it seems like this would only apply to Uber and Lyft drivers, Instacart, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates, it actually has the potential to extend well beyond this industry to across the delivery economy. So anyone who is doing delivery work, if the company decides to go to create an app essentially, then and deploy the workers through an app, then they can use this highly exploitative model that really lowers labor costs from the company and cuts the ability of workers to make a living. And I have a question here about, are we only talking Uber and Lyft here, or is this going to impact all contract workers? So it only, the way that it's written for transportation network companies, so that's like Uber and Lyft and other companies that try and compete, and delivery network companies. And so that's basically any delivery company that uses an app to deploy work. So that includes Postmates, DoorDash, Instacart, et cetera, but it also could grow to include many, many other companies. So you can imagine that because this lowers labor overhead so dramatically that other companies will reorganize their operations to fit into this model of delivery network companies. So in that sense, it's really, really dangerous. So I want to focus a little bit on its impact on consumers. So the way California and state law works is that you have to be an employee or an agent of a company in order to be held, in order for that company to be held liable for your actions. So if I get into a car, if I get into an Uber, and the Uber driver is drunk or high, and he gets into an accident, and in order, if I lost a limb, say, as a result of the negligence of the driver, that driver could not, because they were a low income worker, I could try and sue the driver, but probably not going to get anything out of it. And really, would be Uber's responsibility to ensure that drivers are not driving drunk or not driving high. And if Prop 22 passes and I try and sue Uber, they will likely not be liable for the negligence of the driver. This also disincentivizes the companies from taking precautionary and preventative measures to ensure that their services are safe, because anything they do to control the drivers, like make them take periodic drug tests or ask them to attest to the fact that they are not drunk every time they log onto the app, anything that they do to try and make riders safe would make them would raise their liability. So it disincentivizes the companies from actually making these services safe, and really creates undesirable and unsafe environments for the consumers themselves. So this is a real attempt to permanently lower labor costs